Okay.
Du-du-du-du-du.
Okay, I'll be quiet, Mr. Kesh, as we play through the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute promotional video. This is the 29th Health Teaching Workshop. The main topic will be arms and legs. And we'll start off first with the promo video before we get into the main part of the workshop.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more, much more? The Kesh Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Moran Kesh centers upon the use and control of magnetical gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Kesh Foundation is proud to unveil the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. The Kesh Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth. This is an understanding of how everything works together in harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within their respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Kesh Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Kesh Foundation and the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after, on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanities participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, now we're back to the main part of the workshop, the 29th Health Teaching Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Okay, Mr. Keshe, would you like to carry on there, please?
Yes, this is the first workshop with in conjunction with the teaching from SSI, and this is the first workshop which we have some guests from the Italian community of the Keshe Foundation who are here with us as they most probably will be most of the open day teachings, where we have invited them to be as part of, we are part of the Italian community here. They become part of the Keshe Foundation Space Institute in the open days like Thursdays and Tuesdays. Today we have about 6 of them. We welcome you to be our guest, the Italian contingency, and I'm sure we will see more of them. There are people with a lot of hunger for science. And Keshe Foundation Health section, as of today, will take a new course, a new direction. We've been waiting for the opening of the Institute to be able to announce this change in the course. Today, I'll try to explain the working of the motion of the body of the man and the arm and the leg, in how we move and how we use the movement of the motion of the arm and the leg to attain energy or reach a point where we can absorb energy by picking, eating, walking to what we call food, and using the arms and the leg for that purpose. On the other hand, in the process of generations, in eating different kind of foods and reaching different kind of food, we have come to the point that we have always looked and in so many ways not understood what we do with the energy we absorb and how we absorb the energy in the body by picking it and eating it. So we have created a lot of problems in this sense by our food, in what we reach, and in the process we have created a lot of diseases for the environment and for our body. We are going to change the course of the process of the health teachings as of today, as once we explain how we reach, create movement to pick or digest or in a way consume energy, we can transfer energy across the spans of universe or this planet to reverse some of the diseases which we have caused for ourselves through the process of absorption and digestion of these energy packages. To this effect, we announce, as of today, we are looking for 100 cancer cases around the world that we will test the extent of the knowledge and the correctness of the technology, as we are a space-based technology institute, that we can reverse the condition of the illness without ever seeing the affected person. In a way, if you have cancer in China, and it's a simple cancer, it's a first stage cancer without the manifestation in other part of the body, because we know where to look for it, we ask you to send your request to the Health at Keshe Foundation. Cancer has to be the subject, and randomly we will choose 100 volunteers around the world, and within 1 month, through the processes which we develop, hopefully in June, we will go through one by one cases in respect and the presence of the doctors and physicians at the point of the interaction between the technology based in Italy and the person suffering from the disease anywhere in the world. Which means we showed the preliminary stages of this technology on the second day of the opening of the university 2 weeks ago. Now we go internationally open with it to the application and the implication of such a technology. If you have, for example, breast cancer, brain tumor cancer, any other kind of cancer, and we can meet the demand up to 100%. We have spoken with the Chinese colleagues of ours, and we have allocated 20 places to China. We accept a number of people from different continents because this is important for our research, that we understand that the different line of the descendants of Adam have the same common denominator disease, that we can reach all of them. So we are looking for a number of cancers in South America, a number of cancers in Northern America. We are looking at a number of cancer cases in Europe, Asia, and Africa. We have to explain that we do this with the open understanding that the physicians of the volunteers have to, as part of our agreement, to collaborate with the foundation in monitoring the stages of the cancer and reversal. At the same time, then the following month, we announced the next step, the next disease. And as we learn and we perfect the technology, as we have agreed with Professor Lutzi as the technical director of the foundation, we will release the full design of the system in public the way we open our patent before. This means we dispose of the knowledge immediately worldwide, and to this effect we will teach all the doctors who are sincerely there to help their patients. Professor Lutzi in the opening has explained this clearly, the working of it. Now we are ready to launch it worldwide. We invite the health authorities and the governments to collaborate, as the blocking of the technology in helping the man will mean one day you personally, as the authorities and the people in the government, need it for yourself, your family, or your loved ones. We do not expect obstruction from any government in respect to allowing this technology to be tested worldwide. And at the same time, during the health sessions and the teachings in the afternoon on Tuesdays, the volunteers who want to be known, they are going through the process, will be live present, and they can question assessed by the physicians around the world. If you are a doctor and you are involved in the cancer research, if you are a pharmaceutical company and you are involved in cancer research development, the way we have found a solution for side effects of chemotherapy, and our knowledge is open to you for you to use. Now we allow you to commercialize the Keshe Foundation, the space health technology, directly as partners with the foundation or as partners with the manufacturing section of the Keshe Foundation in China. All equipments will be manufactured in China under the supervision of Mr. Hui, and at the same time all volunteers in China will monitor through the cooperation of the company set up by the office of Mr. Hui and the Keshe Foundation Stichting as a partner. So if you have cancer, or if you know somebody in loved ones have a cancer, we are prepared to look into the case. We ask if you're a doctor, you would like to monitor the cases, please join us in changing the course of humanity for deep space travels, where if and when confirming the process to be correct, one man in space, in deep space, we do not need to worry in what condition the man be. In further development of this technology, as we have shown in past 10 years, we can even extend the knowledge to regrowth of the ligaments, arms and fingers, and even heart valves in the time to be done. So this is part of the development which is important on the Keshe Foundation Health side to be understood, and we are prepared to accept all consequences of development and sharing the knowledge. The people who joined and ask or want to join this organization as a 100 volunteers have to sign to do that they donate their body and the knowledge to humanity. So we do not do what you call blind clinical trial. We do open scientific clinical trials for the human race in one sweep. And month by month we'll announce as we choose an illness for it to be done that we extend our knowledge for a space technology, and at the same time collectively as a human race we participate in development of this health unit. We are not here to damage pharmaceuticals. There were no tablets and no injections 100 years ago, and there will be no tablets and no injections in space for the spacemen of the future. The technology is practical, is solidly scientifically based, and has been tested over the past 15 years. Now we are entering the commercialization by different organizations in respect to development of the new technology. So if you're suffering from cancer, please go on the Keshe Foundation Health Cancer. We will appoint a person to look after this case. You have to have the collaboration and cooperation of your physician or the hospital which is collaborating with you. We are not concerned if you have a different kind of cancer and in what stage of cancer you are. We are not concerned if you had any kind of radiation therapy or chemotherapy. In a way, maybe we can merge, as we already have done in Germany, in respect to the chemotherapy reversal and support, that we can merge our work with the chemotherapy organizations, that in an easier way they can support cancer, what you call process in their production. These systems, once completed, we estimate will be marketed at around €1,000 to the physicians and the hospitals around the world, that they can eradicate cancer as a normal process of the work of a doctor for his patients. As we said, we are not developing this system to go in competition or change the pharmaceutical. We are developing this technology for a space aspects of the technology of the Keshe Foundation in plasma technology. We have shown, with the help of Professor Lutzi, the total equipment some 2 weeks ago. Now we are going for public, in fact, international collaboration as Keshe Foundation, as one nation, supporters, irrespective of nationality and color. So please allow us to support you to change the course of humanity step by step. And the first step for month of June, we see cancer. If we do not respond to your email, it means the case is beyond our workload. On the other hand, the research and development costs a lot of money and development, and at the same time will take a lot of time for the data to be collected collectively by scientists around the world. We will release all data, and we request from the people who are in the medical world to join us to gather the data for human race in the correct way, and we are not afraid of failure. If we fail at 100 cases, or we fail at 50%, or in any percentage or any shape or form, we learn more for the next step of development. As I have said before, we have tested these technologies in different ways in past 15 years, so we have certain kind of certainty that we will succeed. It's for us to establish the limitation and to establish the boundaries of the technology that we can expand furthermore. And we share, as I said, the full technology, the design of the systems, the use of the system, directly as we've done with our patents on an open letter worldwide, internationally, as we will release it in due time. I hope we start a new course for the health section of the space technology, and with it, the collaboration of the World Health Authorities with the Keshe Foundation in a way that will change the course of the health in the space without the need for operation, without the need for open heart surgeries and removal of tumors, and calling people with different diseases, which at the moment the world of medicine has no solution for. So if you are with the foundation to support us to change and to bring the further knowledge to us, please contact healthkf@gmail.com. You can go to the www.keshefoundation.org. We will receive every single email, and I'm sure if you are a doctor and our vetting system shows us that you are specialized in cancer, you get priority in monitoring, and you get priority in the usage of the system once it's commercialized. We are not looking for approval by FDA or any health authorities. This is a gift from humanity to himself and not by one organization. So if the people at FDA or Food and Drug Administration in the US would like to monitor our progress, we invite you for your collaboration. The same goes with the British health authorities and the Chinese and the Russians. This blockage of the technology would not serve humanity, and in turn will end the extension of the arm of the health authorities as the enemies of the human race and not as the collaborators of the improving the health of human race. So we invite the health authorities and all the authorities which are concerned with these health organizations around the world to collaborate or monitor our work. Thank you very much. Now we come to the understanding the work of the body of the man in so many ways to understand how the motion and the movement of the body of the man is used to feed the man. In the universal order, motion and movement, do you want me to change over? Is part of the creation of and sustaining life. Man considers his motion with 2 legs and arms essential for him to create, to reach, to bring energy to itself in the shape of fruit, meat, fish, water, or anything else. But if you look at the structure of the universal entities, collecting, mixing, and reaching a balanced condition of energy is a natural process. If you look at the solar system, the planets within the structure of the solar plasma of a solar system are mixers of magnetic gravitational fields which are free and in motion, that by themselves they create a field attraction from the environment outside the solar system for it to be replenished with new and fresh kind of materials or energies, and at the same time feeding the energy outside what is not needed. So creation of motion is a mandatory for any dynamic plasma condition, be it the solar system, be it the body of the man. For example, in the solar system, we create the motion by rotation of the planets within the plasma of the solar system. In the body of a man, we do the same thing by the movement of the muscles or creation of the motion within the plasma of the gans of the muscles which make his fiber, for it to reach a point where the emotional feeling due to what we call like hunger can be attracted and be satisfied that it receives the energy. In the space technology, we look at everything totally different than what you do in the normal life. Then you see there is a lot of reality in what it is. You feel thirsty. It's the feeling of thirst. Now is emotion that if I do not receive water, I can die, because I cannot keep the ganses of the muscles within the, what do you call it, the ganses within muscles active. So the emotion of thirst, which comes from the emotional part of the body of the man, which is in the thalamus, dictates the physicality to look, to move, to walk towards a place where he can absorb the energy which is needed from the water to keep and sustain life. So plasma, indication of the thirst, in the emotional part, in receiving information that is water is needed to keep the gases in flotation, dictates the emotion, fear of losing control of life, to make movement for the physicality by leg, by walking, by arm to reach a glass of water or some water, that it can guarantee the survival of the physicality, that the emotional part can be intact and in working condition. In the physical man, we use legs and arms. In the plasma condition, we use plasmatic difference between the two sides and the environment of the plasma. So, is the plasma, in fact, a dynamic human being at any shape or form, or a dynamic being at any shape or form, that our body replicates in a mass the movement of the plasmas that allows us to walk, but with the emotion while we are walking, that to satisfy the need of our emotional part. At the same time, the body of the man, the emotional part of the body of the man, has learned something from the physicality part. If he allows to share the information carrying emotion in all parts of the body of the man, it allows itself to survive. So what it does, the emotional part through the blood controls the motion of the physicality and movement of the physicality part of the brain, or in a way to do with the arms and legs. You see fire, you're in fire, fear of death, emotional interaction informs the physicality, I want to stay alive. It's for you to make sure you run or move. So Now the body decides to take action in moving from the fire area. If we look in the structure of the brain of the man, our ancestors did not need it to move. Some of our ancestors, when you look at the MRI of the large number of people, you will see double core capacity or triple core capacity that can create attraction and interaction between the material and the matter which is needed to be absorbed by the body of the man. So in time, as the man has wished to die and the body has carried it out, as we see like in ILS and in MS, the man has had the ability in his emotional part to create a gravitational magnetic field that, as it does in his liver, to create the field of attraction, to absorb the energy of the right quantity and amount from his environment without actually ever walking or without actually stretching an arm to peck or feed itself. As I have explained sometimes before in other discussions, in respect the Indian Guru which we had in the foundation last June, is that if you can manage to control the emotional part in respect to physical part of your lung and even your stomach, you don't need even to move to create food, to absorb food from the environment which you are in. Then the question is, why have we created arms and legs? As I always say, the physicality is a leech on the back of the emotionality of the body of the man, which has led and will lead man to find a way that physicality can justify its existence for emotionality of the part of the body of the man. So what do we need to do? Do we need or do we have a need for arms and legs to walk, to change position, or to reach, to pick, to absorb energy? In fact, we don't need. We have everything we need within the structure of our brain. But somehow over time we have forgotten. In coming time, as we develop new reactors, especially star formation reactors, you will learn that by concentrating on the center core of the reactor, what we call the free plasma, because it's made, and if you make it in the amino acid way which we discussed yesterday or today, you can extract any energy you need from the plasma of the free plasma in the reactor. Then you should be able to live without actually walking to anywhere. The walk will be a pleasure to see. Even walking is not needed, because if you can use the two different sections of the gravitational magnetic field of the brain, you can literally levitate. You can move to any position you like. Our ancestors, some have found a secret, or in so many ways they were shown how to create such a condition. But over time we have forgotten, because it was made for us to forget that they could keep limitation on the movement and control of their own physicality. In the time, the man will be shown how he used to do it, because this way you do not need to reach, and when you don't have a what you call arm that it can kill by, you do not need to kill another animal to feed the body of the man. You create a condition and you receive the energy without ever touching another being for absorption, for the guarantee of the survival of the physicality. So, in so many ways, arms and legs are accessories to human body which we do not need, but at the same time we have to teach ourselves how to use the fields that we have such abundant energy, but we have never used it. We can create motion by desire to be to a place or other place. And we can extract food from a distance by its energy without ever actually touching the fruit or the animal. What we have to learn, and in due time we learn as they teach us the color of things and what food we can eat, what we can ask, and how we can change the course of our own life by our thoughts. We will be taught how to extract energy from the environment and live for centuries. Man should not die within 100 years or 200 years if he knows that he can absorb the right amount of energy from his environment. One of the problems which we have with this structure of the physicality, arm and the leg, is the limitation of the movement, and that limitation of movement gives man the limitation of thought and emotion. Thanks God. Somebody moved out of the ladies' toilet. We have a problem here with the air condition. It gives you a headache from the noise. So, in time, you want to feed yourself. You think of the food and the energy which is required from the environment. And as you do not destroy another structure, your soul stays at peace and level balance. In the coming time, the more people will learn how to use this technology and use their own body to attain energy and position, man will change the habits of his past. As I always say, we teach everything in one go, that there is no need to make mistakes and to repeat the problems of the past. The other problem for moving in this condition is that would be able to move in a space, in any condition, and absorb energy from it without actually consuming it. The answer is yes, and in time we will learn as we go ahead and we go further. Then it comes, why do we have arms and legs? It's just because we forgot how to move without them, and how to move around and extract energy without actually understanding that we could and we can change the course and be learned and taught how to use the body of the man in a way not to harm another being, but at the same time be able to be dynamic, that we can enjoy the beauty of the creation without damaging the rest of the creation. How do you do this? Talk is easy. If you go in the structure of the brain of the man, you have two clear cavities, and you have a separation in the two cavities. Once you can create a given structure gravitational magnetic field in both cavities. Then the interaction between the two fields create a balance in the middle. Then you decide which way you want to move, and you change the operation. It's very much the way you like to turn left or right or run or go faster or slower. And this process has been tested and tried by a lot of people, and it's been used, but nobody could understand the trick. You need to bring balance between the eye and the ear. Somewhere between the different energy level noises, you find a balance point to feed the cavity points. It's very much if you listen to the right ear or the left ear, or you use the right eye or the left eye. You use the collaboration and the cooperation of the two senses, and then you use the flow of the fields through your nostrils to feed, to control the direction of the motion. In this process, you create a gravitational magnetic field balance right in the center of the brain, which in the process of working, it creates an envelope of energy, magnetic gravitational field, around the body of the man in respect to his environment, that it can be absorbed or rejected or create a directional motion or forward or backward motion. This takes time and a lot of experience to do, but it's one of the easiest way, and it doesn't even take the energy of the physicality to move, very little plasmatic energy, but very effective physical movement. As I always say, to move physically like an electron, at the end of the structure of the plasmatic magnetic field of this spectrum, is very little is achieved. But if you can use the gravitational magnetic plasmatic condition in the brain, then you can move faster, much easier, and at the same time with a little use of energy to create motion. Some people achieve this, they call it levitation, but if you can increase the breathing rate, you will go faster. If you reduce your breathing rate, you can go slower. You can change the audibility or input of energy through your ears or eyes, and then you find you can rotate. At the same time, if you create, as I explained, the right gravitational magnetic field between the tissues of the lung, then you create conditions for transfer of the energies of what is in the lung as gases to food in a plasmatic condition to feed the body of the man. So, do we need arms and legs? I don't think so. But why we have come to this point is because we become too lazy and it's convenient for somebody else to do the job. So the emotions, instead of controlling it through the energy of the thalamus, has decided I leave it to the structure of the physicality of the physical body, which is arm and leg. Can we control and change this till we get practiced? Yes. In due course, we have a couple of reactors which has been tested, and then we allow you from different part of the world to control them. And if you can control those, then you can control what energy you want to eat. Would you like American beef burger? Maybe. Or would you like wheat? This is part of the structure. We are hoping that the group in Slovenia, they will come up with a new system of measurements which are working on, and then we can measure every aspect of what we need and what our body rejects and what body needs to create, to attract, to create gravitational magnetic field of any element, and then we become master at it. We use the cars to get us to the point of finding food. Now with this technology, we use our brain to reach us the energy we need to take from the environment we need to do. So, as I said, every day we open a new door in the world of science, and very soon you do not need to go down the road to pick up energy if your meaning is through feeding yourself and not destroying other things with it. Are there any questions? There are no questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Just looking for questions on the. There is a question: is muscular dystrophy possible to heal?
Explain what you call muscular dystrophy. Go to PayPal. To Wikipedia. We are trying to do this one and then we answer your question. Yeah, we're trying to, because a lot of people do not know what muscular dystrophy is. Can you read it for us, please?
Yes, I'll put it on the live stream as well. Muscular dystrophy is a group of muscle diseases that weaken the musculoskeletal system and hamper locomotion. Muscular dystrophies are characterized by progressive skeletal muscle weakness, defects in muscle proteins, and death of muscle cells and tissue. In the 1860s, descriptions of boys who grew progressively weaker, lost the ability to walk, and died at an early age became more prominent in medical journals. In the following decade, French neurologist Guillaume Duchenne gave a comprehensive account of 13 boys with the most common and severe form of the disease, which now carries his name, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It soon became evident that the disease had more than one form. The other major forms are Becker, limb girdle, congenital, facioscapular humeral, myotonic, oculopharyngeal, distal, and
your Latin is getting very good.
My tongue is getting twisted. Emery Jeffers muscular dystrophy. Duchenne and Becker muscular dystrophies are being caused by a mutation of a gene located on the X chromosome, predominantly affect males, although females can sometimes have severe symptoms as well. Most types of MD are multi-system disorders with manifestations in body systems including the heart, gastrointestinal system, nervous system, endocrine glands, eyes, and brain. Shall I go on?
No, that's good. Thank you very much. To change this, I have looked at this condition a number of times. The present knowledge does not allow us to handle such a thing, and if we can enter into RNA that is a developing RNA, which means is continuously adding to its information bank that we can interfere with, maybe we can change the condition. But in fact, this is a total disorder right across the body, all the cells, and it is very difficult to change such a condition at this moment. Next question. Yeah, we have a question here from the only lady in the group.
By our breath
It's focusing of the energy between your ears and your eyes. Yes. Yeah. To understand this more, I keep on teaching this, but a lot of people don't, it just goes over their head, is you have to find the location of this place. One of the easiest way for it is if you, I've said this before, if you find yourself adjustable audio system headphone, stereo, and then tune into it till you don't hear the noise in your ears, but you feel the noise in the back of your head. This gives you a very much indication where to look for the motion and the concentration of the energy for motion and absorption of energy. Some of the Parkinson effects come through disorder in this part of the brain. If you adjust my headphone in the same point and you change them at the same time, then you can understand the balance point in the brain. It's just you don't hear it, but you feel the noise. So you actually the vibration of the eardrums has more or less no effect in the direction of the flow of the motion. And then if you train yourself to look at a certain point with your eyes while you're in that condition, then you add the breathing to it, then you see your fine control. A lot of people who you see levitate use this, because a specific way you can create gravitational magnetic fields. It needs a lot of training, but in a way it can be done. So I see the apple, I think of the apple, so my mind knows what I need. I see the apple, the way I create gravitational magnetic field of the apple in my head, the same as the leaf which absorbs CO2, you extract the apple. Mono structures are much easier than complex structures to start with. Multiple, complex. But you need to train quite a lot. I've done this from when I was a child, that's how I know exactly how it works. By accident, I had a headphone and I could hear, I'm not hearing something, anything, my ears are not working, but I hear the music. So I extended on the knowledge, trying to find that being curious chap. And then you can create levitation, you can create lift. You can even desire what you want to receive. I explained part of the process in shutting down the system here this morning with the reactor number 2. You train yourself, you can direct. You can, people who are expert in it and they become very good at it, become very good leaders, but very just and correct leaders. You can make anyone to fall in love with you and you can make anybody to hate you, because you decide the level of the energy. I think you'll be interested in that. It is needed. We do it unconsciously, but if you train yourself, you can do it very easily. You can levitate your own body in no time, and you can move your body at the speed you like. And if you're very good at it, you can create a lot of other things. But you have to know where to look for. The first step to look for is to find a place in your brain where it is, and then you dictate the position of the light. Because it's an energy, you position the breathing system. Because it needs a lot of energy to be supported, so you create energy by absorption through your lung, through your nostrils. It's very much like when you're a schizophrenic, because what I call the nice people, they have two, 3 people within one body. So they need a lot of energy. They drink a lot of high energy drinks. When you do these things, you are in that position, you need high consumption of sugar. till you get used to it where to go for the energy. And if you ask my family, when I was young, I was a huge consumer of kilos of sugar because I was practicing very much, because it takes a lot of energy. Buy yourself a good stereo system, sit on the ground, or lie on the ground, and then develop step by step by concentration. And you find out most of it you do the first time is when you're asleep, because the noise is still in the background. You can't do it with the closed eyes. The light at night is mono. You don't see anything, so you are much more in control. I'll show you how to do it, but it needs a lot of practice. Any other question?
I'm interested in hearing more about the idea of creating a maggrav field of an apple in your head, as we're trying to develop sensors for these sorts of things, and any pieces of data that might be useful as far as creating this maggrav field might be useful.
Start with, I'm going to tell you something very adult, but if you understand it. Have you ever seen what is called the scent of a woman? You smell, you imagine, you remember the love and the care. You do the same thing. First of all, you create the smell, the odor of the apple. Then you remember the texture of the apple. Then you remember the weight of the apple, because it's a mass you have to move. Then you dictate, you create gravitational magnetic field of the emotional part of the apple. You put the apple on the table, you control the motion, then the apple moves, because now you created the same as you've done with the CO2. In the world of plasma, you create conditions. And the conditions with a man has two parts, emotional and physical. So you can't sit here and say apple to come. You have to create the reverse gravitational magnetic field of the apple. The texture, the color, and most important, physicality is nothing. If you can feel the emotion of eating the apple is what you desire, then the physicality of the motion of the apple will be the consequence of the emotional side. The emotional part of the body of the man as a blood has been ignored by the man himself, otherwise has been opened to it. You desire, you feel good, you won't get in touch with your brother, sister, or your child. You find out they ring. Within seconds while you are thinking about them, or they call you, or they come. There is no difference. Is what you feel in the process of thinking and emotion, you can convert it into physicality movement. Then you don't need the arm and the leg. That's how you do it. It's a step-step development. I think we had a guru, what was his name, that guru who came to Guru Mahan from India. He has managed to develop the technology of the conversion through positioning of lung in absorbing energy from the air he breathes in. And he does it 21 days a year, because after that he has to move in a different position, because everything comes to a fulfillment. You can do it for a longer term, but you have to change position. But it's easier. You can look at the material and create the same condition. And even without actually eating physically the apple, you can change everything that you feel, and it tastes like you've eaten an apple. And in fact, you haven't done any of it, but you receive the energy of the apple. Now, Rick, start practicing. bring your breathing to less than 3 to 5 a minute. You have to do this over months and months of training. Try to breathe maximum 3 times. Then you have to put yourself in a crouching point that the lung closes up and allows the creation of liquid in the lungs to be sustained. And then, like the cup of life, as I showed you, the CO2 conversion of the energy, then you can create the essence and the taste of the sweetness of the apple. In fact, a lot of these people, you watch them, they continuously move their mouth because they create the imagination of eating, tasting, and the body gives them the pleasure of eating. But in fact, they only convert the energy in their lungs. A lot of Indian gurus have captured and understood the process. Actually, the process was taught to the man thousands of years ago by the friends. How to survive without food. And it still carries on. Those who carry the knowledge to understand the process. If you like, we try to get in touch with Guru Mahan, that he can explain to you how he does it. Because when I told him I unraveled his secret, he didn't like it. He says, "No, you know everything." And there was no need for the conversation anymore. He was a guest of us at the Sansana for lunch. And his, entourage were very proud that he can stay without food for 21 days. And he's done it so many years, and he's got a lot of respect for it. And I explained to him how the motor while it was getting fed with electricity from power supplies. And we chose the time and the minute. So if you understand this, then you understand movement of physical matter, because it's on the lower strength of the spectrum of the magnetic gravitational fields, is a child's play. And the people who understand and play this game of movement through thoughts do play a lot of games with the emotion of the people, because they can control it, but in doing so they steal, and that's what we say, thou shalt not steal. You can make people fall in love with you because you use the emotional channel of their brain, but in taking that energy to fall in love, you have committed a crime. Thou shalt not steal. But if you respond back to it, and in a way to add to it, thou has not stolen. This is part of the structure of the emotional part of the physicality. And from now on that we explain it this way, you cannot separate the emotion. Too hot. Too hot. There's no noise now. Nobody's gone to ladies' toilet yet. So you use the emotionality to attract or move the physicality, and in a way you use the physicality of your own brain to create the emotion, that the fields of the emotion moves the matter and converts the motion of the physicality. And you can override physicality if you create the right emotion. Any other question? Too cold?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. That was very good.
Well, it's not very good. Try it, Ray. Can you tell us what taste the apple you had last time? Just here, right. Everything has a life of its own. This building is live. It does what it likes. We have no say. We are here getting cold, warm, noisy. Everything happens here. So what you got to do? Try to reduce your breathing, because by reducing the breathing, in breathing we take too much energies which are not needed. By controlling the breathing, very much they do it in yoga, you control part of it, And then if you can put your emotion into your breathing intake and the physicality, and then while you are doing it, understand which part of the body you are controlling, and then understand which part of the physicality is needed for the movement. You can even dictate if you move to the left or right, and you can rotate in one place. It needs a lot of preparation, it needs a lot of understanding, and if you come to it by chance the way I've done in my life, you will find out it brings you to a lot of free points of detachment. Then, when you need, it'll come to you. When you do not need, it does not come to you. And at the same time, when it comes to you the wrong way, you're aware of it, and somehow you avoid it. Or it gets avoided by physicality of the thought because you're aware of the connection of the man. I, so many ways, seen this in a way because I explain things that you understand is how the emotion works. When we were in Belgium, just before we left, days before we left Belgium, two men out of nowhere with a hat turned up in my house. And the man sat with a hat in front of me as a policeman of the Belgian Federal Police. And I thought, a man who walks in the house of a man with a hat on has no respect for the man. Because he was wearing one of these American cowboys. They believe they are sharpshooters. To me, this was unbelievable behavior from a federal policeman, unless he was looking me all the time in the eye to change the fear of his own in how he's going to kill me. He left with the other officer. I asked my security people, it's a strange event. The man, a policeman, who's supposed to be a man of respect for authority, walks into my house, sits in front of me with a hat on, American cowboy hat. They told me he's here to assassinate you. He wants to overcome his own fears. Next day, by accident, or by the whatever the will, which I don't usually do it, I went to the laboratory about 30-40 kilometers away. The same man with 7 other police officers were there, the mayhem to beat my wife up, to kill me, to create scene of the accident. And he was supposed to shoot. We know who he is and we release his name. This is part of the Mr. Delanois assassination team. I felt the man is there to take my soul. And I was not ready to go. So I know what I'm talking about. The body keeps you out of harm. This is how they have assassinated people, with the sharpshooters and assassins. And then when they did not succeed, they brought another assassin here to poison. Because we feel it, we know it. So, if you train yourself, you feel the people who are there to harm you. Even they try to harm you, the body finds a way to protect itself. In so many ways, you will become wise to weaknesses of the man. Then you understand why, on the same basis, a king needs to go out to find a man who he likes to kill, and finds him in a little restaurant in the mountains, because he has to lay aside his own fear. As a king, he's too weak to stand the science. And then he sends another man with the same behavior. Because I saw the behavior from the king, I knew the man he sent is the same. As we released the pictures of the King of Belgium, in coming in a way to see who is going to kill and how he's going to do it. You build to understand the physicality and emotion without actually touching the physicality or being in touch with the emotion of the man. This is what you call intentions. That's what you spoke about this morning. Next question. And that site, by the way, is the reason we are in Italy. When I got home, the next day I said to my wife, they're here to really to kill us this time. Because I was on the other end of the line, I was listening to my wife shouting and howling when they were bashing her and pushing her. So this is how the Belgian police deals with people. Women, men, children is irrelevant. So that's why we packed our suitcase with 3 suitcases. We came to Italy, and now the fruit of that attack is establishment of the SSI here today. Next question.
Kevin mentions, could this be the path with an evolved practice for teleportation? I think you kind of answered that already, perhaps.
In so many ways, teleportation has to be done in a very correct way. I have explained this in the structure of the teaching in the past few days and the past few weeks. You don't look at teleportation, you create a box to transfer the totality. So what you do, you increase the boundary of the field around your own body, that you make an envelope of yourself. And then you create within your brain the point of destination of the desire, be it girlfriend's home, or be it dad's home, or to be in the center of the desert somewhere. The desire to tune to the place will create the balance in your brain, and you will be at the destined point. But you cannot take the physicality as totality to drag. You have to create the envelope that you become part of that envelope. This is what I explained in the teachings. Doesn't matter what's in the envelope when you carry the package. Everything with it will be carried. You can even carry your luggage with you while you're traveling. Now that you start learning and we teach you about the work of the plasma, we will see people which will start practicing, and we will see people on the internet and the videos. They can float, they can fly, they can move apples and oranges. I can hear her smiling in the background. Rick, don't wish me to be in Canada. I'm not yet.
There's another question. Has Mr. Kesh ever used the neurophone? What is a neurophone, you're going to ask? I knew you'd say that.
So why did you ask the question?
It's not my question. It's Lorenzo has asked the question, actually.
Okay, Lorenzo, tell us what is this neurophone? Wikipedia?
I can tell you what Wikipedia says. It says, in 1958, at the age of 13, Patrick Flanagan invented the neurophone, which he said transmitted sound via the nervous system to the brain. Life magazine called him a unique, mature, and inquisitive scientist, and so on. In 1968, the invention was improved by the development of a means of simplifying speech waveforms, for which he received a patent. That's basically it.
I know nothing about this, so I don't make it.
Yeah, Patrick Flanagan was the guy who sort of invented the idea of pyramid power. He wrote books about that. He wrote the book called Pyramid Power. And this neurophone is his one of his early inventions, basically. So if we don't know anything about it, then it's pretty hard to comment.
I'm ignorant. I don't read things. You know that.
Yes, but sometimes you intuit things anyways, so but you're always honest to say when you don't know about something, and we carry on. Okay, so what else do we have here?
You got 4 minutes before you get the Spanish up in arms.
Yes, well, maybe we should phase out of this teaching here now. Is there anything else you'd like to say about on the health end of things?
Please, if you are suffering from cancer and would you like to volunteer to be for us to test a new system, as a lot of people do not go through the operation, they hope the cancer goes away. We are looking for volunteers to donate their body to the humanity, not to the foundation. All the cost of this research will be met by the foundation. So we are not looking for any donations or support. We will meet the full cost of the whole process. And in turn, we need you to allow us to release the information and the knowledge worldwide. Thank you very much. If you like, you can release the, the point of reference. Please do not send us emails for any other illness except cancer at this moment. And then when we do the next research we announce what it's going to be. And please, if you are a doctor or a man of medicine, or even you call yourself as alternative medicine, please contact us to be able to monitor the technology. If you are part of the FDA or health authorities around the world, please contact us with the same respect we do the operation on the open books, that you can use this technology to save your nations billions of dollars for people who suffer over years from the cancer with no hope, and then the government and the nations have to meet the bills. Thank you very much. Yes, healthkf@gmail.com. We use Gmail in most of our correspondence because it's one of the safe, websites. I've noticed even all the world ambassadors use Gmail because they know it cannot be hacked. Most of the ambassadors, when you ask for the private Gmail, they give you email, they give you a Gmail. Thank you very much indeed. We'll go back to the Spanish. Most probably they have a surprise for us.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh, and that'll be the end of the 29th Health Teaching Workshop, brought to you by the Kesh Foundation's Spaceship Institute.
And the 4th session of the teaching program of SSI.
Yes. And
okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending.